Hey, what's up, guys? Node Investor here. So the battle for 11,000 Bitcoin continues. We are going to take a look at the charts here. But first off, I want to talk about some of the alts that I'm looking. Are the alts going to ever come back to life? I mean, if we start looking through some of these names here, this is Monero, one of the stronger names. If you missed the live stream yesterday, I covered it. Probably one of the few names that are holding up relative to BTC. And I noticed Crypto Bobby was talking about it as well. He's a pretty smart guy, so hey, that's good news. Other people are noticing the setup here. But some other names, I mean, if you just quickly cycle through BTC here, BTC relative charts, right? Look at Ethereum. Here's the 4-hour chart. Still kind of taking a hit there. Litecoin, still overall downtrend in the last couple of days. Ripple, same thing. And most of the big names are just not keeping up with BTC. You've got Bitcoin Cash trying to come off the lows here, but all around still very much in this downtrend. And so many alts just have this pattern here over the last couple of weeks and really since the start of the year. But the pain continues for the alts. Will they come back to life? You look at names like Cardano, just very starting to hit some very oversold levels. But if you look at the daily chart, I mean, that's just been a huge pullback. You look at EOS, another name that I've been watching here for a potential bottom out pattern, but still trying to hold a base there at the lows. Near term, you're starting to see a little bit of accumulation here at this low point, but overall the downtrend's still there. So we're waiting for some confirmation to the upside in a lot of these alts. I think March is going to probably be a pretty good turnaround month. We just started the new month. And so maybe in the next couple of weeks, we begin to see some of these names coming back to life, at least giving us a little bit of a counter trend rally relative to BTC. But let's take a look at Bitcoin because it remains strong all around. It's looking pretty good. So if we look at the BTC chart, I just sent this out on a tweet if you didn't catch that. But a quick update on here, the couple of levels I'm looking at. First off, this area around 11K just continues to be the battle. We had that rally over the weekend off of the lows and into 11K here a few days ago. We pulled back. We found some support yesterday right around that $10,200 mark. And here we are rallying today. And today's rally is actually very strong, very constructive. If you zoom in and you look at the hourly chart there, let me clear this support line here, but just the volume pattern that I've seen today is very strong, very healthy. You can see these big green bars on the way up. Just a lot of accumulation on this rise off of the lows from yesterday. And sure enough, we stalled out right at 11K. But what I'm looking for are a couple of things here. I'm looking for a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a pullback. And so that would be very healthy to see this pullback maybe around to 10.7, 10.5 or so, 10.6, and somewhere in that zone. Or we could just kind of go sideways and chop around here a little bit, give us a little bit of a base from which we could set up another leg that will ultimately take out the 11K mark. I do expect us to go higher, and if we can take that 11K out, then the next big target is going to be the prior high we saw here last week around 11.7, 11.8, and that's going to be a big target to keep an eye on as we have had a pretty big swing off of that low. So that's going to be the next leg up. If we continue lower here, the major support right now is that low we saw overnight. So that's going to be this little area right around that 10.1, 10.2 area that continues to hold so far. And we can see some pullback anywhere in between there. Now, putting the bear goggles on, what I don't want to see is a little bit of a double top. So if we continue lower and it continues to come down sharply, then we could see a potential double top here on this 4-hour chart. And so that'd be bearish because if we break the neckline of this double top around here, then that projects down to around the lows from a couple of days ago in that mid 9,000 range. So we don't want to see that play out. I'm leaning bullish just because the daily chart. Let me clear some of these indicators here, but the daily chart just looks really strong all around. It's setting up very nicely. It's just been sitting tight here for the last 3 days, and now it's starting to edge higher. And so you can see after that big run we had that pullback, which was needed, which was very healthy. It was very constructive. It wasn't a sharp collapse. It was just a needed pullback. and we found some support here. We created a higher low, and here we are just starting to test and move higher here. So this daily chart just looks really good, and so that's why I'm continuing to lean bullish. I think in the intermediate and in the longer term here, Bitcoin continues to remain strong, and we'll be seeing, it'll be interesting to see how the alts react if this thing does break out and we start to test 12K. And so will they keep up? Will they finally turn around and at least hold par with BTC? And that's the big question everyone's asking, and I think it's going to be very selective. Some names are much stronger than others. Many names are starting to be a little washed out and hitting some oversold conditions, but maybe we get that final leg down that takes out all the stops and people kind of throw in the towel, and that's usually the capitulation that we see, and then they start to rally from there. But we're trying to see some, we're starting to see a little bit of attempts to the upside. So this daily chart in Bitcoin remains strong. Another name I'm liking here is NANO, and NANO is putting in a pretty nice ascending triangle pattern here on this 4 hour. And so you can see it's now starting to break out. It's on this pattern, and this is a pretty nice little base here. The accumulation that I'm watching here on the volume patterns is looking pretty good, and it just continues to ride up, now breaking out a little bit of a resistance zone and testing the highs here from a few days ago. And if this continues, then this kind of projects out around 20 to 25%, so in that 191 area or so versus BTC. So all around, one of the stronger patterns, this one. Monero is another one that's stronger. We talked about that one. Omise Go, I've been talking about this one for a little bit. Testing support here, had that nice cup and handle breakouts. Right now pulling right back to the breakout point. You can see it there. Volume on the breakout was very strong. The pullback so far has been constructive, and we're seeing a lot of support come in so far, but we're not going to want to see this get much lower than this current level. So I'm still liking the overall pattern. The daily pattern just still looks very strong versus BTC, and we'll see if this red bar finally can turn around here on the daily chart, and I'm looking for some more upside momentum. But that's the level I'm watching as far as the support level goes. Beyond that, there's a couple of other alts that are trying here off of the lows, but we've seen this before, and these rally attempts just kind of fizzle out. But Lisk had a pretty good pop off the lows. A lot of volume came in, but you can see here, just kind of zooming into that 1 hour chart, just no follow through. It pulls back, looks like it wants to rally, but just continues lower. Another one that had a similar pattern was Basic Attention. That one had a pretty good volume rally, again pulling in, but that's good news that you're starting to see at least some attempts to put in a low here on some of these names. Verge was another one that had a pretty good rally attempt. It looked very strong off the lows, but just kind of pulling back, not a lot of follow through. The good news is some of this pullback is on declining volume, and so you got to start paying attention to some of those names as they pull in. One that's setting up pretty interesting here at the lows is IOTA, and so this one has had several of these pops to the upside, and we're starting to put a little bit of an equilibrium pattern here at the lows with this chart kind of tightening with higher lows and lower highs. And so keep an eye on IOTA. This one's setting up. The daily chart, the longer term picture, still very much not confirming to the upside, but these are the first signs that they're trying to establish a low point here versus BTC. So real quick, before I wrap it up, I did want to remind everybody, if you're new here, first off, please subscribe to the channel and like this video if you found this useful. And for those of you that are looking to learn more about the charts and reading and some of the patterns that I look for, go to noteinvestor.com/training, and you can check out my video course there on technical analysis for cryptocurrencies. And on the homepage there, you can also sign up for my free newsletter. And so check that out at noteinvestor.com. That's going to be it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.